We're going to look very quickly here at some simple basic things that go on with webmail. I've selected Roundcube as my webmail program. The first thing I get a question of commonly is, how do I change my password? Our configuration has it connected to your cPanel. So up here, if I click on this person and I go down to passwords and security, I then have the ability to type in and change my password to something that I want. Password changes are something that for security you may want to do from time to time. The other question I get is, how do I customize things and get signatures and all that kind of stuff? And there's a couple of basic places. Settings is where your settings for most things are, and up here again, mail is your mail controls. So if I go to settings and I go to user interface, I get a lot of different things here as far as time zones and time formats and even some skin preferences. I can control my mailbox view, so I can have it as a widescreen or a list, or how messages are marked as read. Some of the controls on how the things work, including here displaying messages, whether they open in a new window. Inline images, do we show those or do we not show those unless we load them on purpose? Display stuff. Same thing with composing messages, some rules there. Obviously some information about your contacts, folders, server settings. One of the interesting things here that people don't notice for the original question, which is, how do I manage my signatures and all that? If I go to identities, I get this, which is the email address I'm using. I click on that. I can now change the display name. So maybe I want it to be, the Great Todd or whatever, instead of my name, if I'm maybe got a little issue with trying to appear more large than I really am. But anyway, we're not going to do that. Organization, I can put my organization reply to. I can set all that stuff. And oddly enough, I can also set the signature here, and I can even check HTML signature if I want to include a URL to an image, link, and style up an actual HTML or a styled signature. I could just use a plain text signature. Anyway, hit save here and that's it. So the last thing over here is responses. We don't have anything set up for those. You can add new responses to things as far as setting up autoresponders. But anyway, preferences again have all the preferences of how things work. There's a folders here we haven't covered, but you can manage your folders there. There's the identities, which if you select your identity, you can then set your signature and identity stuff that relates to that. And you can also set up autoresponders. And again, this is all in settings. When I go back to my mail, I go to mail. That should be the basics for you. Hope that helped.